Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler is often considered the very face of evil. As leader of Nazi Germany, Hitler unleashed World War II, the deadliest conflict in human history. But his name is forever tied to one word: the Holocaust. Driven by extreme racist ideology, Hitler ordered the systematic murder of 6 million Jews, along with millions of others: Romani people, disabled individuals, political opponents, and anyone deemed undesirable. Entire families vanished into gas chambers. Human beings were reduced to numbers. Hitler's legacy is a warning etched into history. When hatred becomes law, genocide follows. Joseph Stalin. Joseph Stalin ruled through fear. Under his leadership, the Soviet Union became a land where silence meant survival. Millions were sent to gulags, forced labor camps buried in frozen wastelands. Stalin's policies caused devastating famines, including the Holodomor, where millions of Ukrainians starved to death while grain was exported elsewhere. Neighbors betrayed neighbors. Children watched parents disappear. By the time Stalin died, an estimated 15 to 20 million lives had been lost, not to war, but to paranoia and absolute control. Pol Pot. Pol Pot ruled Cambodia through the Khmer Rouge, a radical communist group that believed cities, education, and religion were enemies of a pure society. In 1975, they emptied cities overnight, forcing millions into labor camps. Teachers, doctors, and even people who wore glasses were executed. Families were torn apart. Food was scarce. Mercy did not exist. In just 4 years, nearly 2 million people, about 1/4 of Cambodia's population, died from executions, starvation, and forced labor. The world remembers this horror as the killing fields. Leopold II. Leopold II never set foot in the land he destroyed. As King of Belgium, he privately owned the Congo Free State, turning it into a massive labor camp. Congolese men, women, and children were forced to harvest rubber. Failure meant mutilation, hands severed, families executed. Entire villages vanished. Historians estimate up to 10 million deaths, all in the pursuit of profit. Leopold grew rich. Africa paid the price. Benito Mussolini. Benito Mussolini promised order and pride. What he delivered was fascism. He crushed political opposition, censored the press, and dragged Italy into brutal colonial wars in Africa, where chemical weapons were used on civilians. Mussolini's alliance with Hitler sealed his fate. Once worshipped, he was eventually captured, executed, and publicly displayed, a grim end to a man who ruled through force and fear. Idi Amin. Idi Amin ruled Uganda with madness and terror. Opponents vanished overnight. Ethnic groups were targeted. Bodies filled rivers. Amin openly celebrated violence, calling himself a hero while his people lived in fear. An estimated 300,000 Ugandans were killed under his rule. When he finally fled, he escaped justice, leaving behind a nation scarred by brutality. Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein ruled Iraq with an iron fist. He crushed rebellions, tortured dissidents, and used chemical weapons against his own people, including the infamous attack on Halabja. Mass graves uncovered after his fall revealed the true scale of his reign. Fear kept him in power. Violence kept him feared. When Saddam was captured, his trial became a moment of reckoning for a nation that had suffered in silence for decades. Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden didn't command an army, he commanded terror. On September 11, 2001, nearly 3,000 people were killed in coordinated attacks that shocked the world. Families said goodbye in the morning and never saw each other again. Bin Laden's actions triggered global wars and decades of instability. His death ended a man, but not the scars he left behind. Heinrich Himmler. If Hitler was the face of Nazi evil, Heinrich Himmler was its architect. As head of the SS, Himmler oversaw concentration camps, mass executions, and the machinery of genocide. He didn't just follow orders, he designed them. Millions died under systems he helped build. At the end, captured and defeated, Himmler chose suicide over accountability.